Hey, Alec.
Welcome, John Adcox. How are you doing, sir?
Doing pretty well.
Not,
Long
not.
time no see in person.
I know. It's been Jesus. It's been before the COVID, so it's
Yeah.
been a year. I'm. It's probably been a year. I mean, now
And
that.
congratulations on your recovery.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it was as I, that was 6 months ago, but or 5 months ago. But as I tell people, I said, people ask me, well, what it was like. I said it was like the worst flu I ever had. It was 2 days of a bad fever, 2.5 days, which is the longest I've ever remember having a fever. And, and then it was a week of misery and then another week of being exhausted. But I count myself lucky, although,
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, there's just so many people. God, it's a real national tragedy, the way this, the way the whole thing's been handled. So, yeah, there you go. But we're learning, right? What a year ago, what do you think of when you saw a person with a mask in public? And yeah, exactly. Dale, I'm not getting any. Your camera's not on. Yeah. Hold on. We're trying to get Dale in here. Dale has his second camera. Oh, there we go. There we go, Dale. Now you just need to turn it around because I see your chin. Yeah. Oh, technical. We just had a Zoom call for our Patreon donors. We have over 200 people who each month basically support this studio, and
fantastic.
Yeah, it is. It's really wonderful. I mean, it's just they have been a godsend, and otherwise we wouldn't have the studio. So, here we'll give you a little wider view of everyone there. So,
yeah,
John,
it looks so much better than last time I saw it.
Oh my God, I mean, right. That was a couple of years ago.
We didn't have that cool plaque on the door.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think we had a paper one, but yeah. So it's all good. So everyone, I've known John now for about 4 years. 4 years?
It's really been that long. Yeah, I guess so.
I guess it was end of 2017.
Yeah, we were so young.
I don't know about that, but close enough. Well, I'll take it. I just turned 60, so I'll take any.
I was so young.
What's that?
I was so young.
Yeah, there you are. Yeah, I was still old, but so tell everyone what you do and what Gramarye Media is all about.
Yeah, boy, this is going to take up the rest of the presentation. The funny thing is I've been working on this thing from idea to present, like 4 or 5 years now, and I still don't have an elevator pitch. We are the book publisher, game studio, and movie studio of the future. I've managed to, through luck and blessing, been able to assemble a team of absolute rock stars to disrupt the Hollywood studio system. I mean, we live in an era of disruption. This is the era of Tesla and Amazon. We're looking to beat that to Hollywood in a way that we hope will not only be disruptive, but also sustaining. If you look at the costs that are happening in the traditional system, so much of it is due to just legacy overhead and systematic waste that's baked into the system. So our goal is to mitigate the risk of original content that has the potential to become a cross-media franchise, and at the same time reduce production costs and then control distribution. So it'll say Gramarye at the beginning of our movies and not 20th Century Fox or Disney or something, which will probably be the only one left by the time that we're completely up and running. Seriously, kidding aside, we went through an incubator at Georgia Tech called Flashpoint, which is a business accelerator. You guys probably know this already, but the old saw is that only about 10% of all startups succeed. I've actually heard it's as low as 1%, but 10% is what I can document. But more than 80% of the ones that go through the accredited business accelerators and incubators succeed. So that's a pretty big jump. So we're trying to apply the same sort of thinking to story franchises, because stories are also innovated, and they too can be innovated reliably. And while we were going through that process, one of the questions that kept coming up over and over and over again was, who do you care about? Build your business around the people you care about. And the answer that we kept coming back to over and over again was the original writer, the content creator, and the fan communities, both of whom are sort of dismissed by traditional Hollywood, but both of which are very critical to the success. So in a way, it's like Moneyball, where it's not just about the data, but about recognizing the undervalued and underappreciated assets and build your business around that. So the reason Alec and I got started way back in the olden days of 3 or 4 years ago was
the before time.
Yeah, we were young. Was that we sort of started at the same place where we were deeply inspired, almost to the point of being wounded by our youthful passions, and wanted to embrace them in a way that transcends just mere entertainment. And for Alec, it's fan fiction beyond anything that I've seen done before. And there's great fan fiction out there, great fan films, but what Alec has done is on a different level. And I wanted to go off and do my own stuff in my own way. But I think it was the same urge that got us both started.
Yeah.
And, we've had variations of this conversation 2 or 3 times. And, oh, sorry, I see the wear a mask instruction down there again. So.
No, not now. You don't have to now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, those computer viruses. But anyway, Alec's story, I knew about that story before Alec and I met, with the whole Paramount CBS debacle. It just struck me as utter nonsense, because if you're looking to build fan communities and serve them, you need to serve them, build those communities and support them. So it's really important for us to build our business around those communities. And that involves not only getting data about them. A large part of our business involves getting data. And we don't want to do it in a creepy way where we're out looking at you and finding your buying habits and trying to take advantage. What we're looking for data is the story. And is this a story that's worthy of adaptation? And is it one that we can take across media channels? And the ones who can tell us that are the fan communities. If there's a community forming around a story, we know to move forward. And if the communities are indifferent, we know to pass. And the communities will also tell us how to adapt in a way that is meaningful to them. And involving the creator in that process and letting them essentially be the entrepreneur that drives that ship is pretty important to us. So it's not the way that traditional Hollywood does it. And God bless them, because their model's making billions for them. But we think there's a better way. That's a long answer.
You have studios like Disney, a much lesser extent Warner, that are successful, but there's also a lot of studios that are just that are not so successful at it. I mean, and you can't rely constantly, unless you're Disney, you can't rely on everything you release being a blockbuster.
When we talked to when we were, knock on wood, used to be giving our investor pitch. I hope we're done with that now. We talked about a lot of problems that we saw in the industry that looked like opportunities for disruption. And often I would have to say, except for Disney. Disney doesn't count. But even if you saw Disney's last investor call, they had about a week ago now, where they announced 110 new projects all told.
Really? That was it that many?
Yeah. Now that's counting everything on Disney Plus, everything for theatrical, everything for Pixar, everything for Disney Animation. My dog says hello. But
for a change, it's not my dog.
I don't remember a single thing that was original. Gawain? Hey, sorry. I don't know what's out there now. Anyway, sorry about that.
No, that's all right. We're dog friendly. We're dog people, so that's totally cool.
And we're building entirely around original content. When we were doing our Flashpoint work at Georgia Tech, our incubator, we talked to dozens of studio executives at very high levels, and without exception, every one of them agreed with the analysts who are saying that the era of sequels and remakes has played out and is presenting existential threat to industry profitability, except for Disney.
That's funny, yeah.
But even Warner, to a large degree, certainly Sony, Paramount. If you go through the list of studios, the amount of original content you're seeing is diminishing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the return for remakes and reboots is certainly diminishing. Although that said, I'm thrilled to hear that there's a Night Court sequel coming out, so I'm very excited about that.
A Night Court sequel?
Yeah. The only confirmed original cast member is John Larroquette, but
oh, really?
And Harry Stone's daughter is the judge.
So really? Oh, you think they make John Larroquette's character the judge?
No, he's for some reason back in his old role. I guess we'll find out in a year or so.
Because what has he done in the past 20 years?
The character or the actor?
The actor.
Quite a lot.
Has he
He
really?
put up on just all kinds of stuff.
I'll have to check out his IMDb.
Yeah.
But I think that's true. When you look at it, I mean, everyone's been saying it, and we've all been saying it for years. There's nothing original happening in Hollywood. Everything's a sequel. That there's no, everyone's scared to take a chance.
Yeah, we're able to do that because we start with unpublished book manuscripts that we believe have the potential to become a blockbuster cross-media franchise. And our book guy is Lou Aronica, who was the lead publisher at Avon and Berkeley. He launched the Spectra line at Bantam. If you guys remember the old Bantam Spectra special editions that won 6 consecutive Hugo and Nebula Awards.
Wow.
And he was able to launch that line because he also launched the Star Wars Extended Universe, which paid for the special editions that won all the awards.
Wow.
And when he was doing, by the way, when he was doing the Star Wars Extended Universe, it was a dormant property. So this was after Return of the Jedi, and he flew out and talked George Lucas into doing these novels. And when he was there, they did the original trilogy that Timothy Zahn did, and then they did one paperback trilogy and one hardback a year. And then after he left, they started doing one a month, and the sales plummeted. So that they were doing more books but selling fewer copies because they oversaturated their own market. But it was still a brilliant merchandising thing, and George Lucas called him the man who saved Star Wars.
Oh,
but
wow.
we find these book manuscripts, and we publish them as regular hardcover books, but also as what we call ebook 2.0 that have they're meant to feel like a book from the library at Hogwarts. They sort of come to life in your hands. They have games built in, painted illustrations that'll turn to animation, musical scores, just all kinds of magic, special effects and surprises that make it a more immersive reading experience, but also let's gain some firsthand data. Now we pay fans for their data with tokens that they can use in our ecosystem to enhance gameplay. Sorry, it's my dog bumping the computer. He really wants to be involved in this conversation. But yeah, he won't get up on the couch though.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of dog doesn't get up on a couch?
Or he will, but he sits on his other side.
Oh.
But now he's wanting me to get off the couch and
play
go
with
do dog things. He's a shepherd. He wants to herd me.
Oh.
Anyway, we pay the fans for their data with these blockchain tokens that they can use in our ecosystem, and it gives us firsthand data so we can take a chance. I mean, the best tests are always primary and involve direct observation of something. So we look at what the communities are doing with the story, what passages they share with their friends, what do they talk about in the forums, and if we see passion, then we'll make the movie. If we don't, we pass. Period. And Disney, by the way, gave us some great advice in that investor call without really meaning to, that there's about an 80-20 ratio of what we should be doing for streaming versus what we should be doing for theatrical. So about 80% of what we do will be aimed at streaming and television, and
God,
20% will be aimed at theatrical.
Right? Isn't that, I know a friend of mine had a pitch with Warner, and I'll tell you about that it's a project you and I should talk about. And we were talking about it, and they were pitching. He had pitched it as a movie, and the person at Warner said, "This really needs to be a TV series," which meant he had has to totally rewrite the script. But as I was talking to him, I was like, "Really? Of course you want to be a TV series. Of course, a streaming series. That's where it's all happening. That's where the security is. You could get 6, 7 seasons. You get a movie, it may hit, it may not hit, and either way, you're starting at zero again. So I totally, totally buying into the make it a streaming. 80-20 makes total sense to me, right? Especially,
right.
Right, the people that did streaming. So the people that last year were working on streaming shows are kicking ass right now because no one's going to the movie theater.
Yeah, it doesn't look promising for another 6 or 8 months, probably.
Yeah, and we were just talking about that on the Zoom call. We had a Zoom call with our Patreon donors, and we were just talking about how COVID not only has affected the industry, but how it has affected our production. And now we're like, well, do we want to just wait till everyone gets vaccinated to finish this thing? Because there's so many other things we can be working on for it, the VFX, the score, this and that, and then do our last shoot after COVID, because it's kind of challenging to convince a 60, 70-year-old actor, you know what, you need to come to our set. Yeah, we take lots of precautions, but nonetheless, it's and we're not paying people, so very much. So you're not waving a big number in front of their face that they go, yeah, well, I'll deal with the COVID risk. You're paying me, $20,000 a day, sure.
Yeah. Well, speaking of your Patreon, that's something I'd like to keep in touch with you about, because there's a great lesson that our writers and content creators can learn from. Is the way you engage with your audience. I mean, it's not just the swag, which has been great stuff, but the conversations you have and the behind the scenes, and quite frankly, the candor. And I've seen you deal with fans that support you and love what you're doing, and I've seen you deal with fans that don't care for what you're doing, and you've handled both with a lot of grace. Usually to the degree that is possible. But I do think that a lot of content creators don't have that skill, and really haven't had a reason to develop it. We're looking for writers that don't just have a great story that meets a whole long list of criteria, but we're looking for authors that can sort of be entrepreneurs, because we're looking for the writer to be the one who drives the development of that story across media channels. Now that means learning to collaborate and learning to be, protect the heart and integrity of your story without being overly precious about each detail. But it also means embracing what the fan community is saying to you, and interacting with them. I mean, sometimes you have to remember that, when somebody tells you they didn't enjoy something, they are not wrong.
Oh no, of course, right.
You're not going to please everybody, but you can hear what they're saying and take it seriously and take them seriously. And I think you've done a brilliant job with that. And that's something I'd really like our people to look at and learn from. And I think CBS should have learned from it too. We've had this conversation before as well. But if I was launching a streaming service and I had fan films and I needed content,
I know.
I'd be saying, you can do whatever you want to, and we're going to say this is not official canon. This is the fan zone over here.
Yeah.
But you can do whatever you want to, but you can only show it here.
Well, listen, all you got to do is go through. I keep wanting to say, okay, CBS, All I ask CBS is that you go read the comments section of Prelude to Axanar. Just do that. But they won't. You know, they're corporatists, and they've got a bug up their ass because, we had the goal to actually stand up to their lawsuit. And, I just did a video, I don't know if you've seen it, where I defend Alex Kurtzman and the new Star Trek. And I'm not saying it's great. I'm saying, give the guy a break. Just cut some slack. The first 2 seasons of Star Trek always suck. And I think I've been watching season 3 of Discovery and loving it. Now, long story short, I think if CBS would read the comments on Prelude to Axanar and see that my Kurtzman video has a 50-50 ratio of thumbs up to thumbs down. That's unheard of, right? What does that tell you? That tells you that your fan base, CBS, is as divided as this country is on politics. It's that, I'm sorry, CBS, but half of your fans don't care about what you're putting out. Now, will they come to over time? Maybe. But my attitude, and while CBS may see me as, enemy number one because I had the goal to make decent Star Trek with a lot of other great people. When I say I always filmmaking is a collaborative effort, and there was a lot of great people making this. But I'm there as a huge fan of Star Trek. I may not like the first 2 seasons of Discovery. I may still not like Michael Burnham, but I really love season 3 of Discovery. I really think it's hit its stride and it's kicking ass. I really, really enjoy it. Lower Decks, everyone loves Lower Decks, right? Picard. Yeah,
I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to love Lower Decks. I actually was planning to hate watch it, and they really screwed me over by making me love it. I'm still upset about that, but yeah, I loved it. But I actually like Discovery better than you do.
Oh, really?
The best I can say is I like it anyway, and I'm aware of the flaws.
Yeah. But the third season, I really,
it's better. Any episode of Discovery is better than season 1 of Next Generation.
That's true. Yeah. That is absolutely. The first 2 seasons of Next Generation are unwatchable. Except for
there were good episodes in the second season.
Yeah, but it just we just need to, everyone's so fixated. And listen, by the time you get to Picard, what does Kurtzman really have to do with Picard? Right? Stop getting on Kurtzman's case. He's sitting above it, and he's got people running everything. Those shows are less and less about Alex Kurtzman than they are about Michael Chabon, who did Picard, or the team that's doing Discovery season 3. So I don't know. I think it's fan outrage. It's all this toxic fan.
We're both looking forward to Strange New World, and you and I are both looking for it. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I can't wait. So I think fans need to chill out about listen. And I can talk intelligently and passionately about what I hate about Star Trek Discovery. Thank God they're in the future, because the first 2 seasons have no place in Star Trek canon in the original timeline. It annoys me.
The parallel universe, right?
Now they're in the future. Now they can do whatever the hell they want. Now it's all cool. Now it's all new. Now they can, talk about detached nacelles and programmable matter, and you're like, wow, this is that's pretty cool stuff. Yeah, they're 1,000 years after any other Star Trek. They can do that stuff. God bless you. Have fun. And the characters are really, God damn. And I love all the people that give Star Trek Discovery crap about being woke. Like, oh, they're too woke. It's because they have a transgender character or a non-binary character. They have a gay character. There's a gay couple. And all right, people, just if you didn't learn your lesson from Star Trek, the original series, that Star Trek is on the cutting edge of social drama, it's like you haven't learned your lesson. That's what Star Trek's about. It's 50 years later. One guy who's half white and half black is not going to cut it anymore. There's going to be more interesting dynamic.
President now.
Yeah, right. And what is? I mean, I think the characters in Discovery in season 3, especially all the new characters, are fantastic.
I do too. We had the Michael Burnham conversation before, I think, and I like the character better than you do.
Yeah.
Despite inexcusable rating in season 1, we agree on that. I would like to see. I love that actor. I think she's fantastic.
Oh, she's a great one.
I would love to see her go one episode without whispering.
Or one episode without crying, for Christ's sake.
I'm good with the cry. But anyway, back to the original point of this is CBS should have had a little special area on CBS All Access where fan films live.
Oh, God bless
because
you.
every one of them has a fan base. And you bring those fan base to CBS All Access. You give them forums on there. If they want to say, hey, I like Axanar better than Discovery, God bless. They're on your forum and they're participating and they're giving you data and they're giving you eyeballs and they're giving you their precious time. Embrace that. Because you're in business to serve fans. And if you're not serving fans, you shouldn't be in this business.
What do we do? We're all about serving fans.
Yes.
Now, some of those fans are ourselves, right?
Ideally, but one of the things that we noticed when we were starting to do our research back when we were starting Gramarye was over and over again we'd see in the forums, why don't they listen to us, the fans? And we thought that was a really, really, really excellent question. Why don't they listen to the fans? And you have to do it in a way that you can't do surveys because surveys have all kinds of bias. And you have to do it in a way that's not creepy. And you have to do it in a way that doesn't take advantage. So you have to reward for what they're giving you. But most importantly, you have to listen to it. And this is back to the whole point of this talk is respecting those fan communities. Because it's not just that you give them what they demand and what they ask for, because they don't always know what to ask for. You want a surprise, you want a delight, but you also have to respect.
Right.
I think that's been the breakdown in Hollywood. Now, I mean, granted, our business is on reducing cost. The joke in Hollywood, which is not a joke at all, is very true, is it costs $3 million to say no to a project. Hollywood will spend anywhere from $5 to $20 million on movies they don't actually make.
Wow,
we believe that we cannot make a movie for less than that.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
And when we do make a movie, that we're building it on actual, we talk, this is true. We talked to the chief analytics officer, a C-level position on analytics for one of the major studios, who said they spend a minimum of $250,000 up to $3 to $5 million, up to $3 million on analytics for a single tentpole film, without finding anything that's reliably predictive.
Holy crap!
Yeah, that's our take. So there's this over reliance on unreliable data. I mean, a large part of it's survey data or the fire hose of data from social media. And his favorite anecdote was that when two people go see a movie together, 78% of them think that they're the ones who made the decision. That math doesn't work. So that's the data they're basing decisions on. And you've seen the result. We looked at franchises that were popular for 7 years or more. Star Trek, of course. But, MASH, Mary Tyler Moore Show, Harry Potter. Hunger Games was just under the wire at the time, and tried to find things they had in common. And then, of course, we got our butts handed to us because that was survivor bias. We only looked at the hits. So we went back to the drawing board and also looked at failures and near misses and tried to find things that the hits had in common that the failures and near misses were missing. So from that, we came up with a list of criteria, things like elements of found family, hello, crew of the Enterprise. And Discovery does that beautifully. They do the whatever else you say about Discovery, and Lower Decks. Yeah. Lower Decks does found family beautifully. Neither of them does functional families really well, but that's the beauty of it. I think that's the appeal. That's why those two shows work when they work. It's certainly not the logical consistency. Wow. But anyway, we found this list and we find the manuscripts that hit all of them. We published them And we look to see what people are responding to and how they're responding. And that sort of tells us what to adapt and how to adapt it. And we keep the fans involved throughout that process, because if they don't care what we're doing, it's not going to work.
Right.
And we keep them involved. And, as part of we're building a place for fan fiction to live. And it's do whatever you want with any of our characters, any of our properties. God bless. It lives here, but do whatever you want to. And we will support it as best we can. We'll point marketing dollars toward it, and we'll support it however we can. And if it, unless it's, white supremacy bullshit or something. Am I allowed to say bullshit?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay. Unless it's some kind of nonsense like that, whatever you want to do, we may have to put an adults only disclaimer on it.
Yeah, of course.
But do it, and God bless. Because
so, here, Dale,
I'm talent that way.
I want here. Look at Dale's T-shirt here. Does everyone see that?
I cannot.
It says "Never forget Wolf 359."
Bravo! And you see when he's out in public and people see that, if somebody gets the joke, you're instant friends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. I know. Yeah. It's great. But listen, I think this was the core of what CBS didn't get when they were busy suing me. It's mystifying. They missed a great opportunity. Yeah, they missed a huge. How I say this all the time. And you and I have talked about this. If they had said, you know what, we see that a lot of people love Axanar. It's too good. We're going to bring you on, and we're just going to put you on our website and let people enjoy it for free there. Go ahead. God bless. Take it. If they had enabled us to make the movie,
all access where you have to subscribe.
Right. If they had enabled us to make the movie, they would have created a whole new way in Hollywood to create content. Let the fans fundraise for you.
We would have had that data. And frankly, they would have generated a whole lot of goodwill.
Oh yeah. And
that's the lesson here. Goodwill among fandom is really easy to lose. And yeah, you're going to make bad movies sometimes. You're going to make missteps, but you don't blame the fans for that. You don't say, "Hey, they didn't understand," or "Toxic fandom turned against us." No, you made a movie they didn't enjoy.
They didn't like it. Listen, 50% of the fans don't seem to like Star Trek Discovery. Now
I understand.
You can say whatever you want. The challenge is you've lost 50% of the fans. That's what you've done. And you may not have lost me. I may be a little more resilient than some other fans, but they're
it's not from lack of trying to lose you.
Yeah. But I always, listen, I always say I draw a line between the franchise and the current IP holder, right? The franchise is Star Trek. I'm a diehard Trekkie. CBS, couldn't care less about CBS, right? They mean nothing to me, but Star Trek means a lot to me.
Right, clearly. I mean, Star Trek means a lot to a lot of people, and it's not just the fan films. There's astronauts, there's scientists, there's teachers that were inspired by Star Trek. There are film startups that were inspired by Star Trek.
Sure.
I mean, for me, it was Star Trek. It was Lord of the Rings, Narnia, and a lot of things. Land of the Lost. We talked about that before.
Oh yeah.
All of those lit my heart on fire at a very young age, and that fire is still in me, and that's still driving me in the same way it's driving you. It's the same passion that we're both driven by. And that's what I think studios need to understand, and they need to embrace it.
I agree. I mean, it is amazing. Listen, Star Trek. I mean, Harry. Look at Harry Potter, and Harry Potter is an interesting franchise for me because I'm not a Harry Potter fan. I've seen those movies once. I don't need to see them again. Right?
Did you read the books also?
I never read the books, right? Because I always sort of viewed them as YA, right? And I was not interested. However, and Crystal my girlfriend loves Harry Potter. You know, if it's on TV, she's got it on, right? You know, the kind of the way I would you know, Midway or Patton, or if it's on, you know, it's on the tube. However, then they came out with Fantastic Beasts. I love Fantastic Beasts. Totally into it. I'll watch those movies 2 or 3 times, no problem. I think I feel like it's more adult. The characters are adult. The characters are fascinating. They're fascinating. Whereas the first one was just an amazing movie. So I'm hooked now. I wasn't hooked on Harry Potter, but Fantastic Beasts, I'm in.
I'm actually a huge fan of the books, believe it or not. And I'm close to your age. I'm in my youthful 50s. It's a quote from the original Bible for Next Generation, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's a deep cut, I guess, even for you. The original Bible described Picard as already being a captain despite being in his youthful mid-50s.
Oh, God.
But anyway, there's a lot of really wonderful things that are sort of hidden in the Harry Potter books that are really that are worth a look. I mean, some of it's just geeky details. Like she did, there's a lot with the Victorian flower lore. Like in the first book, one of the professors asked about a potion. And if you read the ingredients, there's a flower that is a lily. That's Harry Potter's mother was Lily, and a flower that represents mourning, and a flower that represents death.
Oh, interesting.
What the professor was saying is, I mourn for your mother's death. But it's in code, and we don't get that. But it's just this little detail that you don't get until somebody points it out. But it's lovely. And the character handling is really beautiful. But it also has a fan base that is divided by the IP itself. And I'm not talking about, you know, JK's comments on trans unfortunate nonsense. I hope our writers will not act that way. But I went to a convention, and there was a young woman there who was cosplaying as Draco Malfoy, the kid who was the bad kid.
Sure.
And I got really interested. I wanted to know what her story was and why did she choose this character. And it turns out she was very disappointed by Draco's ending in the books, and that he didn't have sort of more of a redemption arc, because in high school she herself was a bully and had grown out of it, and was seeing a lot of or Draco Malfoy in herself, and was responding to that, and believed that she had changed and had come through it a better person, and wanted to see that redemption arc reflected in the fiction. And it broke my heart. It was a lovely story. And the fact that Harry Potter generated that type of passion for a relatively minor character shows that there was an achievement there that's very special. I think you're seeing the results of this out in the world. I've said this a lot when I'm talking about Gramarye. These stories mean things to people. And when I say these stories, I'm counting Star Trek, I'm counting Star Wars, I'm counting specifically Harry Potter's and Hunger Games. But if you look at the Hunger Games, it looks like a really ugly story. I mean, it's kids killing kids. That's not very cheerful. But if you scratch the surface just a little bit, it's a lovely story. Because if you're in the 3rd grade, you're playing dodgeball with bullies. You come home and there's school shootings and pandemic and climate change on TV. The Hunger Games is really what the world looks like to you. What the Hunger Games says is that you're empowered to change it. And then you look at the kids in Parkland, where they had the school shooting, that are going around the country, and where they go, voting participation among young people has skyrocketed. So these are kids that have internalized the Hunger Games and Harry Potter and the Marvel movies. And they've come to believe that when they perceive danger and they don't perceive that the adult establishment is stepping up to protect them, they have the ability to band together with their friends and go out and make meaningful change in the world, because that's what their mythology is telling them, and they've internalized it and they've come to believe it. That's the opportunity and the responsibility that we as storytellers have. We show that if you band together with your friends, you can do amazing things. That's what Star Trek has been saying from day one.
Well, that's
right.
That's right, and that's excellent.
And you're living proof. I mean, look at what you're doing with Axanar. These stories empower these fan communities, and if you don't take them seriously, you're an idiot. So part of our mission, part of our business philosophy, is to not be idiots. We wrote that down, actually. Our plan is to not be idiots, and that begins with respecting your fans and respecting those fan communities.
Well,
boy, I think you've only asked me like 2 questions this whole time.
Yeah, I'm going to scroll back. First of all, I want to thank Adam Vera, back and big and bad and better as ever, our super chat champion. Thank you, Adam. Hope you got the package I sent you. I haven't heard from you, Adam. Hope you like what I sent you.
Yeah, me too, Adam. I didn't send you anything, but I hope you like what Alex sent.
Tim Norris, the Star Lost was awful. I'm sorry. I saw that. I'm scarred by that from my childhood. He points out it was Harlan Ellison's only attempt at sci-fi TV, and it was miserable. Oh my God, that was so bad. Anyway, oh my God, Adam, Adam, have you been drinking tonight? Adam is on fire. He's given us 2 $20 super chats in a row. God bless you, Adam. Man, you are crazy.
Now, what's the adding 40 years mean?
I don't know. Request to add 40 years. 40 years to what exactly?
I think he means till the time that Axanar is actually released.
Oh, he says he says I am my useful 50s, and he's hoping 40. Hopefully, you get 50 more.
So he's in his youthful 90s, is what he's saying.
he hopes to be in his youthful, I guess.
Yeah.
But well, good. Good to see you again, Adam. We appreciate it. Eccleston, I agree. Excalibur is a classic. It is a fantastic movie.
It is my favorite sword as well.
It is awesome. My little homage to that movie, back when we were shooting Axanar back a year and a half ago or so. I had at the house we just moved out of. I think I had half a dozen people staying at my house, and I was, it came like 7 o'clock in the morning. It was time to get up, and I walked down my hallway where everyone's room was off my main hallway upstairs, and I walked down my hallway, and it was the one time in my life I was able to use the line from Excalibur. When he's going to rally all the troops, and he's like, "Knights, guards, squires," and I was like, so that was my little call to action. And of course, no one was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" But
by the way, my King Arthur novel comes out in 2022, so line up now.
Say again?
My King Arthur novel comes out in 2022.
Oh, wow. Really?
And my first book, by the way, just came out this year. It's a Christmas book. It's out now at your favorite bookstore.
And
Raven Wakes the World, which has nothing to do at all with our conversation. But
what's the name of your book?
Raven Wakes the World.
Raven Wakes the World. Okay.
Yeah.
And it is geared toward what?
I was actually in a bookstore today, and I got to see copies on the shelf, which is always.
Did you really?
Yeah, I even took a picture.
Oh, you have it to share with us?
I have my phone. I'll hold it up.
Raven Wakes the World.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And I just got a tag when I open my phone that says "You're live now."
All right, let's hear. I will pull it up because I've got. Here is your book.
That's it. It's been marked down. It was $18 when it came out, so Amazon has it on sale now.
All right. Well, that's always on. Everything's always on sale on Amazon. So,
it wasn't for a long time. It just started. Anyway, I'm insufferably proud of that.
MP Graphics is asking how he can submit a story to you.
First of all, I'll tell you how to spell it. Write to me, and I'll better yet, write to Lou, LLOU, at Gramarye, GARMA. Well, now I'm forgetting how to spell it.
GRAMARLEY.
No L.
No.
Right.
It's
GRAMARYE, Gramarye Media, all one word, .com. So that's Lou, LOU, at GRAMARYE MEDIA.com.
There we go. I put it into the chat comments myself.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I should have thought about that.
Star Lost was where we first got to see Walter Koenig. It's Koenig.
Yeah, spelling is not a thing tonight.
I know everyone's messing up their spelling, but thank you, Stephen Ross. We appreciate the $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's right. I forgot Walter Koenig was in Star Lost. I still hated that show, but it was Star Lost was the one where basically there was an ark that had left Earth, and it had big geodesic domes like in Silent Running, and that each one was a different culture that didn't know it was on a spaceship, that so interesting premise, but just kind of bad 70s execution, but very interesting premise. And so Demands haven't seen you. Hey, Mr. Benoit, don't mean to change the subject or bear bad news, but Tommy Lister Jr. Playing the Klingon, first Klingon to make contact past. Yes, Tiny.
No.
Yes, Tiny. Yes, we know, Damon. That was sad news. It happened this past week, and I know I saw it in the trades. Yes, he played Klang, the first Klingon in the pilot episode of Enterprise. So a good whoops, a good point there. So Jafem says, I don't believe I've seen Star Lost. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't know if it's ever been on TV again. I haven't seen it. Thank you, Stogie, by the way. John Streckis, our loyal fan producer, is producing tonight's show for the first time. Lissa had other things to do. She was doing some charity event, and so Stogie's taken over as producer. Thank you, Stogie, for putting that he has put the website, the Gramarye Media website, in the chat.
Thank you.
We'll put it in the comments. Stogie will put it in the comment section below, the description below as well. So there you go. What else? There you go. Well, listen. Thank you so much for coming, John. It's great as always.
Anytime.
I need you and I need to do lunch or at least chat again on the
Absolutely.
phone. I want to hear about your.
Show you some of those shooting locations I had in mind for you.
Yes, absolutely. I want to hear about them. I absolutely want to hear about them. And we will keep you posted on how things are going with Axanar. I'm looking forward to getting it done this year. I really am. Adam Vera, are you drinking? Adam just throws a $50 super chat. He's done over $100 in super chats so far today. By the way, it's the super chat Admiral of the World official title. Adam, yes, you get this super chat Admiral of the World title. That is very, very impressive.
You need to get Adam a uniform and put him on set somewhere.
I know, boy, he is an all-star. Adam is.
By the way, the one thing I hate most about Discovery is the uniforms.
Yes.
I did not think that the season 1 Next Generation could be beat for bottom, but
I don't have a problem with season 1. Season 1 Next Gen doesn't bother me. Their uniforms don't bother me. Outside of men wearing skirts, I didn't have a problem with the jumpsuits necessarily. But Discovery's listen, the production designer on season 1 Discovery I fail on every single. I mean, what production? Maybe the corridors were okay, but other than that, the production design of Discovery was just horrendous. you know.
Yeah,
And
we talked about that before. I actually like the bridge better than you did.
I know,
which
yes,
I know
you
is
do.
not saying much.
Hey, listen, you could play football on that bridge, so I guess that's
if they had chairs, I'd liked it even better.
yeah. The whole spinning saucer section, and I don't know. I don't know. It just
Remember, it's a parallel universe. It's not the universe we grew up with.
yes. Listen. They kept calling it the Prime Universe. Okay, call it the Prime Universe all you want. The original universe is the universe we care about, and that's the one.
Yeah,
TOS.
but nobody said it on screen, and only things that are said on screen count as canon, right?
I know. Well,
And
they
what we've
finally
seen on
integrated the
screen
Kelvin.
clearly says it's a parallel universe. If you take it as a parallel universe, it's a lot more comfortable to watch.
Yes, exactly. Which is my number one point. Is I wish Kurtzman had said that from the beginning. You know, and so
Who cares what they say? Unless
whatever.
they say it on screen.
We had a conversation about whether Lower Decks is canon, and by the end of the conversation, I had a couple other guys on as well, the guys from Trekyards. You know, I basically came to the conversation like Trekyards, like Lower Decks isn't canon; it's a cartoon. And by the end, my attitude was like, who the fuck cares what's canon? Just make up your own canon. It's just not that important.
I kind of love the idea that CBS is experimenting with what Star Trek can be. Now, granted, we haven't seen the Nickelodeon show yet, so
Prodigy.
Yeah, but I have higher hopes for it. I love the idea of reaching out to. I mean, we're all going to die off.
Yeah,
you need new fans to come in.
Yep.
I love the idea that they're experimenting that Star Trek can be more things.
Yeah.
My gateway into Star Trek was the animated series, the original animated series.
Oh wow, that's fast. That's a fact. Oh yeah, because
I'm
you're
slightly younger than you.
I saw the original series when I was a kid.
Yeah,
first one.
I found the original series after finding the animated series on Saturday mornings.
Interesting.
And I got really hooked on the animated series.
Wow.
And then my first live action Trek was the one that had Spock shouting. And thinking, this does not sound like the cartoon Spock. I don't like this live action Star Trek. So like weeks passed before I gave it another try, and you know, never looked back. Gawain.
I guess your dog didn't like the cage either.
Yeah, do you want to talk for a while? I'll mute.
What's that?
I said, you want to talk for a while, and I'll put myself on mute while he's.
Yeah, we got to wrap it up. We're pushing the end of the show.
Yeah, it's past my bedtime,
your
man.
dog timing is impeccable.
Yeah. Say that again.
Yeah. I said your dog's timing is impeccable. We're at the end of the show.
He's a shepherd.
Yeah. We're so listen, thanks for. Sorry.
It's past our bedtime. You and I are old, man.
I know. I got to get home and jump into bed and watch the last episode of Mandalorian. And thank you very much for Val, who's our stalwart supporter. Says Axanar is canon. Thank you, Val. We love you for saying that. But thanks and thank you, John, for coming out. Awesome to have you here. Get a different look at media.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks. I don't know how to say Ecclesiastes.
Eccleston. Yeah. Just call her Val. Her real name is Val.
Oh, hi, Val. Say hello to Crystal for me.
I will. She's out working tonight, so I will tell her when she gets home and tell her you said hi, and we'll definitely get together as soon as we can.
I'll really look forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, my friend. It's great as always to have you. Everyone out there in TV land, in streaming land, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it as always. We will be back tomorrow with Pat and Chris on Starfleet Tactical, talking about all things spaceship combat, and then we'll be back next week. Actually, we won't because it'll be Christmas, and we will not be doing Axanar Confidential on Christmas Day. But everyone, stay tuned.
Alex got to be visited by his three spirits that night.
That's right. The ghosts of Star Trek past, present, and future will be visiting me. I don't know what they're going to be telling me to change my evil ways. But that's it. Thanks to Stogie for being our producer tonight. Thanks for my in-studio co-host who you don't get to see on camera, Dale Simpson.
With the cool shirt.
Yeah, him and his Never Forget Wolf 359 shirt. He's the one responsible for that second view, so you get to see the bridge. And he's going to be driving me home because Crystal's car got totaled and someone hit her while she was parked. And so we've only got one car in the family. So Dale is going to drive me home. We'll probably drive through and do a burger as my way of saying thanks. But that's it. John, we will talk again soon. Everyone else, listen, if we don't,
all of y'all out there in video land.
Yes. And everyone, please have a happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, and maybe most importantly of all, Happy Festivus. Take care, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.